Hi everyone, I'm Uncle Phil. This is Nikki.
He always says that so you don't think he's the dummy.
Thank you very much. Well, this is our very first show of Cooking with Uncle Phil, and we want to welcome you. And today we have a very special treat for you. Yeah, what are we cooking, Nick?
Barbecue ribs. I like them.
We're really excited about this first show, aren't we, Nick? What's this?
It's a fire extinguisher.
I can see that. What's it for?
You're cooking, aren't you? Okay, tell you what. You go inside and get the ribs ready, and I'll get the grill and everything set up out here.
Properly preparing the ribs for cooking is essential. Here's the first tip. So do you see this membrane right here? If you can, be sure to remove this. And here's why. Removal allows smoke from the grill and your very favorite barbecue sauce to permeate the rib meat. To remove it, take a butter knife and gently place it between the membrane and the rib meat underneath. Now you'll carefully want to lift and separate the membrane from the rib. Next, take a paper towel, grab the membrane, lifting it up as you pull the membrane away from the rib. In the event that you can't remove the membrane, and there are times I can't either, if you take a sharp knife and you score the membrane without going into the meat in this kind of an angle, and then back again like this, like a crosshatch, you will at least open up the membrane to where the rub and the barbecue sauce can get in. Not as good as taking it completely off, but better than not doing it at all. So, are you ready to add the rub? Next step, really an important one. Okay, so first I coat it with virgin olive oil. This actually acts as a binder. Some people use mustard, which is fine too. It does the same thing. So you just coat it with a generous coat of oil here, and you'll want to be sure to get both sides. And then the next thing we're going to do, once this is coated, is we'll go ahead and sprinkle this very special rub all over the rib. Okay, so now we're going to cut the ribs to fit in my rib rack for the big green eggs. First thing I'm going to do is measure, obviously. Try to find this middle rib right here, and then with the saw, right down in between the rib, and that will fit very nicely into my big green egg cooker. If you decide to leave them whole, this step is done. Put in the egg. We got our temperature established right now. The first thing I'm going to do is put on these wood chips. These are apple, cherry, hickory, and Jack Daniel's whiskey oak barrel. So they're really great, and they'll smoke, so get ready. This is real important. Put this on. You got to work fast unless you like smoke. Put that on first. Next, we put on the convector. This convector stops or acts as a separator between the fire and the product up at the top. See the smoke starting already? Those wood chips catch fire. We're now going to add some water. This is optional. Some guys decide to put the water in, others don't. I always have. Put that in there. That adds a little, in my opinion, tenderization to the meat, and if not, you think it did. Now it sets right over it like that. Finally, we add the meat. So not only does the meat get a good smoking, so does the cook. And this will happen for 3 hours. Okay, let's give the ribs another little drink of apple juice. They're looking good. They're starting to get the mahogany color, and as you can see, the bone is starting to separate and come out from the rest of the rib. The meat's actually pulling back. That's a sign they're getting done. We now have all the ribs off of the egg. We're going to take it inside and put them in a foil packet. I call it packetizing, and this will really lock in some goodness. Wait till you see this. We've got an apple juice and brown sugar and honey all already in there. This one goes down like that. Now we're going to do the exact same thing on top of this one. It's kind of like a sandwich. We put this in here, and this just is unbelievable the way it makes everything sweet. We'll put about a quarter of a cup or so of apple juice in there. The next step is extremely important. See these ribs sticking out? You want to allow for that. We're going to fold these packets, and we want to be sure that we don't fold them too tight, because if we do, those sharp bones will poke a hole in the rib package, and then we're in bad shape. So here we go, just like that. If you need extra foil, bind or double wrap them. So that's one of the packets right there. Now we're ready to put the packetized ribs back on the grill. It doesn't really matter how they go, just so they go. This process will be probably about 90 minutes. I know this takes a long time, but trust me, it's very well worth the wait. Well, we're rounding third and heading for home. Let's get these puppies out of here. Okay, so you notice how the ribs have expanded outside of the meat itself. This is an indication that these ribs are done. So, all there is to do is to put on the barbecue sauce, whatever sauce you use. Now this is my homemade barbecue sauce that I have made for over 40 years. I'd love to tell you what it is made of, but of course I'm not going to do that. But look how it goes on. When you bite into these ribs, not only will they fall off the bone, but you're going to have a sweet sensation, and then it's going to bang, get hot. That's the way the sauce is designed. Before we cut these, we let them rest for about 10 minutes. This lets all of the juices redistribute back into the meat.
Oh, look at this.
Oh, wow!
Enjoy!
I got my plate. Where's yours?
Yum!
Dig in.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Everything's so
Very tender, kind of melts in your mouth.
Uh-huh.
The sauce is tremendous in terms of its sweetness, a little balance of sweet and hot. It's great. You've done a wonderful job.
Ditto, Nan.
Absolutely.
Cheers, Uncle Phil.
Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. This completes our very first show of Cooking with Uncle Phil. We hope you enjoyed yourself. If you did, please hit the subscribe button and the thumbs up, and we'll be making more videos. And don't you have anything to say?
I told you they were better than sex and no begging.